Hello, in this video I'll walk you through how to use regression analysis when analyzing companies. Using the data you collected from your project, I created a spreadsheet, and you can see on my spreadsheet I have about a dozen companies listed, and for each of those companies I've shown their PE ratios, the growth rates, their dividend yields, and the beta for each company. Off to the side, I also have the current stock price and the current earnings per share. And so what we're going to do is use some regression analysis here, where we assume the PE ratio to be the Y variable, right? And we assume the growth rate, dividend yield, and beta to be the X variables, right? And so if you think about regressions, the Y variable is dependent upon the X variables. And so what we're saying here is a company's PE ratio is dependent on its growth rate, dividend yield, and beta. All right, these three factors have shown significance over time. There certainly are other factors out there that drive the PE ratio, but for the sake of the project, we'll only use these three. So here we go. Up top in Excel, I will choose the Data tab, and then I will choose the Data Analysis function. But you can see on my screen that does not show. Yours may be the same. You might not have Data Analysis available, and so it's easy to load it. You just go to File, Options, and then just select add-ins. Okay, here's where you manage all the different add-ins in Excel. At the bottom of the screen, I can hit the Go button to manage my add-ins, and the one we want is the Analysis Toolpak. So just check that box, and you'll see Data Analysis now appears. So I'll open Data Analysis. I'm going to want to run a regression. And it's asking me what are my Y variables and what are my X variables. So my Y variables will be my PE ratios, and I highlighted the label as well. My X variables will be all three, growth, dividend, and beta. And I make sure I let Excel know that that first row has labels in it. And then most importantly, I want to check off this box down here to plot residuals. Excel will just take the formula it produces from the regression and estimate PE ratios for me. So I hit OK, and it looks like mine returned an error. It tells me to please check my input range again. So let's see. I'll cancel out. And if you look at my input range, you can see I'm missing some data for two of my companies. You cannot have missing data in a regression. You can have data like this. You could have data that's 0, but you cannot have missing data. And so what you'd want to do is research, do a little further research to find the growth rate for those two companies. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to delete them from the regression, and let's run it again. Data Analysis, Regression. My Y range is just my PE ratios. My X range will be my three factors. Okay, and it looks like I now have my regression output. If I make column B a little wider here, you can see at the very bottom of the output, Excel ran the regression, and I can see the details of the regression here, my different coefficients. And you can construct your formula this way, and Excel takes that formula and extended it for me down below, and that's my predicted PE ratios. So I'm going to go ahead and copy those, and I'm going to come back here, and I'm just going to paste them right next to my data. Let's clean this up a little bit. So I have a predicted PE ratio, right? So the PE ratio will refer to that as the multiple. So if I know the ratio and I also know earnings, right, I can solve for P. Right, if we know E and we know the ratio, we can solve for the price. And so what we can come up with is a predicted price. Right? And this is where we say it's just a multiple. So a multiple of our predicted ratio times our earnings per share. Okay, and I can bring that all the way down for all of my companies. And so when we think about this, we think about DuPont. We can see their current stock price is $55. We predict them to be trading at $54. So in terms of would I put a buy rating, a sell rating, or a hold rating, I would use a hold rating because it looks to me like they're fairly valued right now. This second company, Dow Chemical, the current stock price is 38. My regression predicted a stock price of 23. So here's a case of I would apply a sell rating to the stock, right? It's trading at 38. I think it's worth 23. I'd sell. And one other here, but let's look at Poly One Corporation. Current stock price is 13. Our model predicted $20 a share, and so this is a case where we would say buy. It's trading at 13. We should buy it because we think it's worth 20. So that concludes the video on regression analysis. Hopefully this is enough data to help you complete your project.